Raymond simply pointed. Arrest them. Attempted murder and conspiracy. I'm done pretending I didn't see the red flags. Binta's face went pale. Attempted what? No, no, no. Raymond, please, don't do this. We can settle. Let's talk like family. Melissa screamed, Zara, you witch! This is all your fault. If I didn't slip in that bathroom. But before she could complete her lies, Raymond's voice sliced through the room like a sharp blade. Wait, he commanded. Everyone froze. The police paused by the door. The air went still. Zara looked confused, her teary eyes darting between the faces. Raymond turned to face her. His expression had changed. No more anger, no more sarcasm, just truth. He slowly walked to her. Zara's legs were shaking. Then, to everyone's shock, he knelt down in front of her. Dead silence. Even the officers looked surprised. Zara, he began, you became my wife in the most mysterious, ridiculous way possible, without your consent, without a proposal, without a choice. She gasped, tears pouring again. But now, I see things clearly. I've been fighting the wrong person all along. He reached into his pocket and brought out a ring. I love your strength, your calmness, your quiet pain. I love how you smile even when your world is collapsing. I love your heart, Zara. She couldn't breathe. Please, he whispered, marry me properly. End this drama. Let me do it right this time. Zara's lips trembled. Her hand covered her mouth. Through the flood of tears, she nodded slowly. Yes, Raymond. Yes, I will. Gasps echoed. Melissa let out a wild scream like a mad cat trapped in a cage. No! Raymond! You're mine! Not hers! Not that thing! Raymond stood, slid the ring onto Zara's finger, and kissed her forehead. Then turned to the police. You can take the noise pollution away now. As the officers dragged Melissa and Binta out, one of them smirked and said, Don't worry, madam. You can tell the world your love story in court. Melissa screamed louder, her voice fading as she was pulled out the door like yesterday's trash. Zara stood there in shock, the ring on her finger, her tears not from pain anymore, but from disbelief. She never thought her nightmare would turn to this. The police van screeched to a stop. 2 officers opened the back doors and dragged Melissa and Madame Binta out like old market bags. Take it easy now. Binta groaned, one shoe already missing. You're dragging a whole elder like me? Don't you people respect gray hair again? My back, my waist. All are already hurting me now. The officer dragging her hissed, Your back was strong enough to plan attempted murder. Walk. Melissa, still wearing her rich woman bone straight wig, jerked her arm away from another officer. Don't touch me, you hear? Do you know who I am? I'll sue all of you. I'm Melissa, the wife of Raymond. Before she could scream again, the officer snapped the handcuffs tighter. Wife of who? From mansion to prison? Madam, calm down before we gag your mouth with this uniform. They were thrown into a holding cell, cold, damp, and already smelling like stale sweat and forgotten dreams. Binta sank to the floor with a long hiss. Ah! God! This is not how I planned to sleep tonight. I thought I'd be eating grilled fish and red wine in that mansion, not breathing toilet scent in a prison cell. Melissa stood, pacing like a confused lion. Mama, do you know what just shocked me? She said, eyes wild. That low-class thing, Zara, just sat there and collected my life like a free promo. It's the beautiful life I built with lies and lipstick that she now owns like it's her birthright. Binta groaned, wiping sweat from her forehead with her wrapper. All our plans backfired and entered her handbag. Everything we did only turned around to bless her. Can you imagine? All the juju, all the crying, all the fake tears, just wasted. Melissa, you wasted all my investment. Melissa turned sharply, pointing her manicured finger. Don't shift the blame, Mom. Who pushed me into this nonsense? You and your useless greed. Was it not you that said, I should book an appointment with Jerry, my sugar daddy, a day to my wedding? You said, Zara is just a shadow and it won't be difficult to erase her. Well, now the shadow is shining and we're the ones hiding. Binta hissed, You're talking too much. Calm down. I'm old. Let me think. Melissa scoffed, her face twisted in anger. Don't worry. My one phone call will set us free. Binta looked up quickly. You want to call that blogger girl? Melissa smiled like a witch in training. No, I want to call someone else. Me. I can't sleep here tonight. We must leave here tonight. Binta blinked. Who? Melissa's voice dropped low. You'll see. By the time I'm done, the officers would apologize before asking us to go. At Raymond's mansion, love was in the air. Zara was crouched beside their king-sized bed, carefully folding clothes into the shiny leather travel bag. She hummed lightly, her smile soft and peaceful. Raymond was beside her, lounging on the couch like a king who just conquered heartbreak. I'm taking you around the globe for our honeymoon, he said, tossing a pillow playfully at her. Babe, you need serious pampering after everything. Special treatment for my queen. Zara blushed. Ah, that's so sweet. Honestly, I think it's necessary. All the stress we've passed through only proved that what we have is real love. Raymond nodded, flashing that charming grin. Exactly. Drama tested us, but we didn't break. I mean, you're officially a soldier now. Zara laughed. Ah, please, I'm just a lover girl, not a fighter. They both laughed. The mood was perfect. Then, buzz! Raymond's phone lit up beside him. He glanced at the screen casually, then froze. His eyes widened so fast, Zara thought maybe he saw a ghost. Raymond? She said gently. What is it? He blinked, swallowed, then forced a crooked smile. Nothing serious, just a message. I need to check something quickly. Before she could even blink again, he was up, grabbed his phone and marched out of the room like it was on fire. Zara paused. What kind of business call makes someone's face change like that? She shrugged, shook her head, and continued folding her silky gowns. Men and their mysterious phone calls. Maybe it's a surprise gift. She smiled to herself. A few minutes later, Zara's phone buzzed. She reached for it casually. Probably an alert or update. She looked at the screen, and her entire soul froze. The air disappeared from the room. Her fingers turned cold. Her chest rose and fell like someone just pulled the ground beneath her. What? She stammered. She blinked hard. Once, twice, again. Still the same words, still the same image. Her lips parted in shock. Her throat tightened. Her heart pounded like a scared drum. This is not true, she whispered, voice cracking like dry wood. She looked again, praying the letters had changed. Maybe her eyes were playing tricks. But no, they were still there. Bold, loud, unforgiving. She held the phone away from her face like it might explode. A sharp breath escaped her lips, then a bitter laugh. Ah, what kind of thing is this? Tears filled her eyes, but she blinked them away fast. No, not now. Not like this. She stood slowly, hands still shaking. Behind her, the bag lay wide open, half-packed. She clutched her chest. Something inside her broke quietly, like glass cracking under pressure. Zara stood still for a few seconds, at the phone still in her hand like a loaded gun. Her eyes were red, her mouth slightly open in shock. Slowly, she turned her head and looked at the travel bag on the floor. The same bag she had excitedly packed just minutes ago, imagining island sunsets and candlelit dinners. She stared at it like it had just betrayed her. And then, without thinking twice, she dropped the phone, knelt down, and started unpacking. One dress after the other. She folded them angrily. Some she didn't even fold, just tossed them aside. Even her wedding lingerie, the red one with diamonds she kept for the honeymoon night, she grabbed it and hissed, "Nonsense!" Rubbish dream. Zara dragged everything back to the guest room, the same room she was forced to stay in before. She didn't even bother switching on the light. She dumped her things on the bed and slammed the door behind her. And just like that, her strength gave up. She sat on the floor, back against the door, and burst into tears. Loud, ugly, hot tears of pain and confusion. "Oh God, I thought it was over," she sobbed. "I thought the worst was behind me. Why this again? Why now?" She covered her face and cried louder. "Is love a curse or what?" she shouted into the empty room. She looked at the phone again, still glowing on the bed, the screen slowly dimming like it was tired of ruining her day. Zara crawled to the bed, picked it up, stared at the message one more time, just to confirm if heartbreak had grown legs and entered her phone. Still there. Wow, no single pity, she muttered with a bitter laugh. Life just chose to be cruel on me. Why me? Why me again? Then she hugged a pillow and sobbed into it like a baby. Minutes later, a soft knock landed on the door. Knock, knock. Ma, food is ready, a housemaid's gentle voice called from outside. Zara wiped her tears, cleared her throat, and tried to sound strong. But the crack in her voice betrayed her. Thanks, but I'm not eating today, she said with a fake smile the maid couldn't see. The girl paused for a second, sensing something was wrong. But Ma, I said I'm not hungry. Zara barked, then buried her face back into the pillow. Okay, Ma, the maid said, voice low, as her footsteps faded down the hallway. Zara rolled over and stared at the ceiling. So many thoughts ran through her mind. So many unanswered questions. So many why me moments. She looked at her engagement ring. It still sparkled, but it felt fake now. Empty. She slowly pulled it off and dropped it on the side table. The silence in the room felt loud. Zara closed her eyes, but sleep refused to come. Because pain had now moved in fully and brought confusion as a roommate. Meanwhile, at the balcony, Raymond stood like a statue, leaning against the wall, the cold screen of his phone still pressed in his palm. His eyes? Blank. Like someone whose soul just packed up and left without notice. For 5 long minutes, he hadn't moved. No blinking, no talking, just kept staring at the message that had just scattered his heart into useless pieces. Then, out of nowhere, he let out a loud, bitter laugh. Huh! Wonderful! Just wonderful! He scoffed. Do I have magnet for disaster or what? Maybe I'm wearing spiritual perfume that only attracts heartbreak and madness. He looked up to the ceiling like he was talking to the angels. I can't do this anymore. Yes, I can't. His voice echoed down the hallway. Just then, one of the maids walked up, holding a tray with a soft smile. Sir, dinner is served. And Madame Z. Raymond spun around sharply and cut her off mid-sentence. I'm not eating, he snapped. But get me 4 bottles of wine. Red. The strong one. The maid's jaw nearly dropped. Sir, 4 bottles. Raymond's eyes flared. Did I ask for advice? Or you now work in the hospital to count people's liver? The maid shook her head quickly. No, sir. Sorry, sir. Then move, he thundered, before I change it for you. The poor girl disappeared faster than a rat chased by a cat. Minutes later, Raymond sat alone in the main lounge with 4 bottles of expensive wine lined up in front of him. He uncorked the first bottle and drank straight from it. No glass, no toast, no cheers, just pain in liquid form. Sip after sip, the anger turned to silence, and the silence slowly turned to drunkenness. By the time he was halfway through the 3rd bottle, his shirt was unbuttoned, his belt loose, and his eyes bloodshot. Zara, he mumbled, half crying, half laughing. I thought you were different, but you just joined the list. All of a betrayal gang. He picked up the 4th bottle and hugged it like a baby. At least you're honest. You won't lie to me. You won't say I love you and stab me behind my back. The room spun. He staggered to his feet, pointed at the air and shouted, Love is a scam. Even the devil go fear Una. Then he laughed. Then he cried. Then he collapsed onto the couch, holding the wine bottle to his chest like a broken-hearted warrior. The mansion was silent. 2 hearts, shattered. 2 people in 2 separate rooms. Same pain, same confusion. Through message. But what exactly did they see? There was dead silence in the mansion. Too silent. The clock ticked. The wind whispered outside. But then a door creaked open. Heavy, shaky footsteps echoed through the hallway. It was Raymond, drunk, furious, betrayed, and boiling. He staggered back to his room, eyes wild, breathing heavy like a bull ready to charge. Zara! He roared like a madman. You can't sleep in the same room with me again. Not after this! Never! He kicked the door open and froze. There it was, the leather honeymoon luggage bag, wide open, almost empty. the same one they had laughed and packed together just hours ago. He slowly bent down, touched the bag, then clenched his fists. "Oh, you packed joy inside and left me with pain, huh?" He spat bitterly. Then, like a possessed man, he turned the room upside down. He flung open the wardrobe. Empty Monverse. He stormed into the restroom. Nobody. He checked under the bed. Nothing. His voice thundered, "Zara! Where are you? Are you hiding inside my socks drawer?" He looked around like a mad detective, sniffing betrayal in the air. "I swear I'll screw you today. You said you loved me, but you didn't even mean it. Why are women like this, Anne? Do we look like fools to you?" He stood still. The silence laughed at him. Then he burst into crazy laughter. "Ha ha ha ha! She disappeared! Just like that! Maybe she used her witch power to vanish." Suddenly he paused. His eyes sharpened. Then he turned like lightning and stormed toward the guest room. Zara's room. He didn't knock. He kicked it open, and when he saw her sitting quietly on the bed, tear-streaked, her phone still beside her, something in him snapped. He pointed at her like she was a criminal caught red-handed. "Oh, so you still have the audacity to lie your filthy body on my bed in my house? You liar!" Zara flinched, her mouth open to speak, but no words came out. Just silence. Just shock. Her eyes begged for understanding, but Raymond wasn't in the mood for peace. He charged at her like a wild beast, grabbed her by the arm, and dragged her off the bed. "You know what? Let me go back to my original plan," he spat, voice shaking with hate. "No more wife package for you. You'll stay here and do the hardest, dirtiest chores in my house. Let's see how fake love works with toilet brushes." Zara gasped, her heart racing. "What? Raymond, what are you saying? I should be the one mad at you. For deception, for lies. You didn't even tell me who you really are." Raymond's hand flew in the air and slapped her across the face. Zara stumbled. Just then he screamed, "Chief Maid! Get in here!" The door flew open. The chief maid ran in, breathless. Raymond turned, still laughing, but his eyes were pure fire. "Return her to her usual duty post." The chief maid's eyes widened like saucers. "Sir!" Slap! Raymond struck her without blinking. "Don't question me. Do as I say." Zara stood frozen, her cheek red, her heart torn. The room was full of people, but she had never felt more alone. That night, Zara didn't sleep. Not even for a second. She sat on the cold hallway floor, her back resting against the wall, her hands clutching her phone like it was her last hope. Her eyes, red, swollen, blurred from too much crying. She kept replaying everything in her mind, the messages. Raymond's slap, his cruel words, the look in his eyes, the honeymoon plans now forgotten like yesterday's trash. Zara wiped her tears with the back of her hand. Her voice cracked in pain. "I'm the one who was betrayed, not him." She let out a bitter laugh. "I actually thought Raymond would come crawling to me, apologizing, holding my legs, crying like a wet cat. But no, he turned into a monster overnight, a coward hiding from the truth." She paused. Then her eyes widened. "Wait, maybe he knows I know the truth." She sat up slowly. "Maybe that's why he's trying to break me first, silence me, humiliate me." Just then, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Zara quickly wiped her tears and stood up, weak but trying to look strong. The chief maid walked in slowly, her eyes dull, her voice low like a warning. "Zara, you'll wash the maid's toilet this morning," she said without emotion. "After that, clean the gutter behind the kitchen." Zara blinked, confused. "Ma, it's still midnight. Let me do that in the morning." The maid let out a cold chuckle. "Zara, it's already 5 a.m. Birds are singing. The sky is changing. You better get to work immediately." Zara opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. Just silence. Her lips trembled. She looked down at her feet, then at her hands. The same hands that wore a diamond ring 2 days ago, now about to hold a toilet brush. From bride to housemaid. In just one night. And as the chief maid turned to walk away, Zara stood there in the hallway, alone, broken, but slowly. Something was forming in her eyes. Not fear, not sadness, but quiet strength. The sun had just begun to rise, casting a weak orange glow through the mansion windows. One of the junior maids screamed so loud it shook the entire house. "Somebody come quick! Sir Raymond is lying on the floor." Everyone rushed out, and there he was. Raymond, unconscious. His body was sprawled at the entrance of his room like a rag doll thrown away. His shirt, stained with blood. His face, pale, lifeless. One of the guards rushed over and shouted, "He's still breathing! Call the ambulance, now!" Within minutes, Raymond was rushed to a private hospital. The entire house was in chaos. No one knew what had happened. No one had seen anything. Hours later, the private ward door opened slowly. Melissa walked in, shaking like a leaf. Tears danced in her eyes as she rushed to Raymond's bedside. She dropped her handbag and grabbed his face gently. "Raymond? Raymond? What happened to you?" No answer, just the slow beeping of the machines. She stared at his bruised cheek, the blood near his mouth, the drip in his arm. "Barely 48 hours I left you, just 2 days. And now see you, lying here like a used wrapper. What is going on, huh? Who did this to you?" A nurse, quietly checking the drip, turned to her. Melissa snapped. "Excuse me, where is the doctor? What are you doing here? Are you even qualified to touch him? I think a real doctor should be the one attending to him, not you with your oversized uniform." The nurse stepped back, blinking fast. "Ma, the doctor will join you soon." Later, in the doctor's office, Melissa sat across the table, her eyes sharp, her heels tapping the floor nonstop. The doctor cleared his throat and said, "Miss Melissa, Mr. Raymond was heavily intoxicated. But there's more." Melissa frowned. "More?" The doctor looked up from the file and said calmly, "He was poisoned." Melissa froze. "Poisoned?" Her voice cracked. "Wait, what? Are you sure?" "Yes," the doctor said. "The alcohol he drank had traces of poison in it. It wasn't enough to kill, but it was enough to knock him out and damage his system if not treated quickly." Melissa's mouth hung open. "Jesus, who would do such a thing?" The doctor added. "Relax, he's stable now. He should wake up anytime soon." That evening, Raymond's eyes slowly fluttered open. The lights in the ward were dim. He blinked, looked around. Then his eyes landed on Melissa. She was seated beside him, holding his hand gently. The moment he recognized her, his face changed instantly. From weak to angry, from confused to furious. He tried to sit up, but his body was too heavy. Still, he managed to whisper with venom, "What are you doing here?" Melissa's smile froze. You're supposed to be behind bars," Raymond continued, his voice cold. "Why are you here like a free woman, sitting beside me like some innocent angel?" Melissa blinked fast, pretending to be shocked. "Raymond, what are you saying? I came here the moment I heard. What happened to you, baby? Why are you like this?" Raymond turned his face away and scoffed. "Don't play games with me. You think I don't know who you really are." Melissa's lips trembled. "Barely 48 hours that I left you, and you are like this. Can't you see we are meant to be together?" Raymond snapped. "To be with you. That should be death sentence." Melissa, with a calm voice, said, "I know I wrong you, but all I did was to prove how much I love you, never to hurt you. Raymond, we are meant to be." Raymond turned and stared straight into her soul. "I'm saying, I don't trust you." And Melissa's heart skipped. "Raymond, I think I am the only one you should even trust because I love you deeply." 2 days had passed since the hospital incident. The morning air was heavy. Zara was on her knees, outside the mansion, by the gutter. Her hands were soaked, her fingers scratched and bleeding slightly as she scrubbed the slimy gutter water. Her face was dull, her heart shattered. She muttered under her breath, "I'm the one that was betrayed, yet I'm being punished. What sort of life is this?" Just then, a black SUV pulled up in front of the mansion. Zara paused and looked up, shielding her eyes from the sun. Her heart skipped. The car door opened, and Melissa stepped out like a queen returning from exile. In a crisp yellow gown and bold red lipstick, Melissa stared down at Zara with a wicked grin. Then she laughed. "Ah, my madam, the madam of the house. I see you've come down to the gutter to teach the maids how to clean properly. Classy." Zara didn't say a word. She dipped her brush into the bucket and kept scrubbing like Melissa didn't exist. No reply, Melissa continued, mock pouting. Oh, right. Queens don't talk to criminals like me. But look at life. Me walking into the mansion and you scrubbing the gutter like a rejected mop. Zara clenched her jaw but said nothing. The maids stood around, whispering in shock. Even the guards were frozen. Wait, isn't that Melissa? One of the cooks whispered. She was arrested, nah. How come she's back? And why is she walking freely? Meanwhile, inside the mansion, Raymond sat on the couch like a ghost. He looked tired, weak, and lost in thought. His face still had a healing bruise near his temple. He winced every now and then. The chef came over and handed him a bowl of fresh fruits. Raymond pushed it away weakly. Take it back. I already ordered food and fruits from Food Plus. I'm tired of eating homemade poison. The chef's eyes widened, but she said nothing and walked away quickly. Melissa, who had just stepped into the living room, laughed loudly. Of course he's tired, she said, her heels clicking on the marble floor. His last meal almost killed him. Raymond looked up and glared at her. Melissa raised her hands and said sarcastically, Relax. It wasn't me this time. The one I was arrested for was just a love portion. At least I wanted you alive and obsessed. But whoever tried this latest one, they wanted you dead. Be thankful I was around. Raymond said nothing. Just then, a delivery man from Food Plus walked in holding 2 well-sealed bags. Your order, sir, he said. Raymond collected the bags slowly. Melissa watched him closely like a hawk. Are you going to eat it without checking? Who knows if someone already called Food Plus ahead of you, she said with a smirk. Raymond paused. His hands froze. A sudden silence fell in the room. Everyone stared at the food, like it was a ticking time bomb. Raymond slowly placed the food on the table, then looked up and said in a low voice, I don't trust anyone anymore, not even myself. Melissa swallowed hard. Zara, outside by the gutter, had heard everything through the open windows. She dropped her scrubbing brush, her chest tight with fear. Because deep down, she also wondered, who poisoned Raymond? And why was Melissa, the woman who was once arrested, suddenly back in the mansion like nothing happened? The evening air was soft and cool, brushing gently against the flowers in the mansion's garden. But inside Raymond's heart, there was no peace. He sat alone on the wooden bench, staring at the flowers as if they held the answers to his troubled mind. His shirt was slightly open, and a half-empty glass of juice dangled carelessly in his hand. He looked tired, not just in his body, but in his soul. Just then, Zara stepped into the garden with a broom and packer in hand. Her intention was to sweep around the walkway, but the moment her eyes landed on Raymond, something in her chest tightened. Rage, betrayal, confusion. It all came flooding back. She dropped the broom halfway and walked straight to him. Why didn't you tell me? She snapped, her voice trembling. Raymond looked up slowly, confused, angry. Tell you what? That you're HIV positive, she shouted, her eyes blazing. You confessed your love to me like you were the best thing that ever happened to me. Meanwhile, you were hiding that. Are you even human? Raymond's face turned pale immediately. His fingers loosened, and the glass slipped from his hand, crashing to the ground. He blinked rapidly, trying to process what he just heard. Zara? He stammered. Who told you that? That's a lie. A stupid, wicked lie. And you ridiculous, cheap goat believed that? Zara didn't flinch. Instead, she pulled out her phone and shoved it in his face. Read it yourself, she said coldly. On the screen was a message from a private number. Congratulations, Raymond's bride. Oh, wicked vice. He is HIV positive. Protect yourself. I am also a victim, anonymous. Raymond stared at it. His lips moved, but no sound came out. He swallowed hard. It's not true, he said at last. Zara, I swear, it's not true. Someone is trying to destroy me. Please believe me. Zara let out a dry laugh. Oh, of course. Everyone is always the victim when they get caught. So the devil sent the message, right? Or maybe Raymond didn't respond to her sarcasm. Instead, he quietly pulled out his phone and began scrolling. Zara watched him, still burning with anger. But then he paused, stared at his screen, and smiled. Zara frowned. You think this is funny? Am I amusing you right now? Raymond looked up at her and slowly shook his head. No, he said. You're not amusing. You're proof. Proof of what? She demanded. That someone is playing both of us, he said softly. Then he turned his phone toward her. Zara's face changed as she read it. Zara is mine. She is 2 months pregnant for me. Stay away, Raymond. Anonymous. Her mouth fell open. What? Raymond leaned back on the bench, his voice dry with sarcasm. Congrats, Zara. I guess I should be planning your baby shower now, yeah? Zara stumbled back a step. Wait, what? I'm not. Raymond, I swear I don't know anything about this. I'm not pregnant. This is madness. Raymond chuckled bitterly. Tell that to the anonymous message wizard who knows all your secrets. Zara stared at him, then at the message again. Her heartbeat doubled. She looked around like someone was watching her. This can't be a coincidence, she muttered. Raymond sat up straight, the teasing in his tone gone. It's not, he said sharply. It's a setup. Someone is playing games with both of us. They stared at each other in silence. Suddenly, Raymond clenched his fists, eyes darkening. I swear, if this is Melissa again, I will make sure she goes down fully. Zara whispered, This is terrible. Or maybe they think we are not meant to be. He looked into her eyes and said, Yes, whoever it is, they want to break us before we even begin. The living room was quiet that evening. Too quiet. The television was off. Raymond sat like a statue on the couch, his fingers locked together, his face unreadable. Zara was nearby, bent over, dusting and cleaning one of the dining chairs. The atmosphere was heavy, like something was about to burst. Then, without saying a word, Raymond picked up the remote and turned on the large TV hanging on the wall. But it wasn't Netflix or a movie. It was CCTV footage. The house cameras. Everyone in the room looked up. Guards, maids, even the confused cook peeking from the kitchen door. Zara paused, the cleaning cloth frozen in her hand. The footage played. There it was, 2 nights ago. Raymond walking groggily into the living room, clearly drunk, confused, stumbling toward his room. And then it happened. The maid, the same one standing nearby with a calm face, was seen watching him closely. The moment he turned his back, she tiptoed behind him, squeezed 2 drops of a strange liquid into his drink, and placed it on the side table like nothing happened. Gasps filled the room. Jesus! One of the guards whispered. Raymond's eyes darkened and made a call. Come in. At that moment, 4 policemen walked in, dressed in black, serious-faced. Raymond pointed straight at her. She's right there, he said coldly. Arrest her. As 2 officers stepped forward, the maid suddenly tried to pull away, crying out in panic. No, it wasn't just me. I was sent. Madam sent me. The whole house froze. Raymond stood slowly. Which madam? He asked in a dangerously calm voice. The maid's lips trembled. She looked at Zara, then shook her head. It's Madam Melissa, she confessed. Gasps again. She told me you belong to him. She said I should do everything to make sure Madam Zara goes away. She gave me the dropper, said you won't die, just collapse for a while. She also told me about the text message she sent to each one of you. She said once you're confused and angry, I should watch and report. I even told her when you slapped Madam Zara that night. Zara covered her mouth in shock. The chief officer nodded at his team. Take her. As the maid was dragged out screaming, another officer turned to Melissa, who had been watching the commotion. Miss Melissa, you're under arrest, the officer said sharply. For conspiracy, poisoning, attempted murder, and obstruction of justice. She screamed and tried to run, but the officers grabbed her by both arms. Raymond, I can explain. It wasn't. I'm on the phone with the Inspector General of Police right now, Raymond said, holding up his phone. No games, no fake tears. This time, you'll rot in jail. No bail, no mercy. Melissa's face went pale as chalk as the door slammed behind her. Silence fell again. Raymond turned slowly to Zara. She was still standing by the chair, stunned, her eyes wide. He walked over to her, gently took the cloth from her hand, and whispered, "I'm sorry." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I just wanted peace," she whispered back, "not war." "I know," he said softly, "but some people were fighting for what never belonged to them." Zara slowly pulled her hand away from Raymond's grasp, her eyes soft but firm. "Raymond," she said quietly, "we don't really know each other yet. We both made mistakes, and right now, let's give time a chance to show us if we truly belong together." Raymond looked shocked, even hurt. "I'm sorry, Zara," he said, his voice shaky. "I would have asked you. I should have listened before judging you. But I let my emotions take over." Zara nodded, her tone calm but honest. "And I judged you too. That's why we need time, to truly understand each other." She turned and walked gently toward her room, leaving Raymond standing there, speechless. A week later, it was another quiet morning in the mansion. Zara was outside, again by the gutter, scrubbing the edge. The sun was already up, and her face was slightly sweaty, but she kept working. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned and gasped. Raymond was standing there, wearing a maid's gown. Zara blinked, confused. What are you wearing?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. Raymond stood proudly, broom in one hand, bucket in the other. "I've officially resumed duty as a maid in this house," he said with a silly grin. "Since you refuse to stop working and take your place as the real madam." Zara burst into laughter, covering her mouth. "Raymond, where did you even get that gown?" "I borrowed it," he replied with mock seriousness. "I will buy mine when I get my first salary." She shook her head, still giggling. "You're unbelievable. But I think we should sack the maid who allowed her uniform to fall into your hands." "No, I'm just a man who's tired of being the boss without a wife," he said softly, dropping the broom and stepping closer. "I'm tired of eating alone, sleeping alone, living like a king in an empty palace. I messed up, Zara. I judged too fast. I spoke too harshly. But if you can forgive me, I want to start again." Zara looked into his eyes for a long moment. Then slowly she reached out her arms and hugged him. "I forgive you," she whispered. "But this time, no secrets." "No secrets," he promised, holding her tighter. "From now on, it's you and me, my madam." And there, beside a half-clean gutter with maid gowns and laughter between them, they began a brand new chapter, a journey of love, trust, and healing. Hello, family. What a story, right? Today's episode teaches us a deep lesson. Never judge anyone too quickly. Sometimes the people we push away are the ones sent to heal us. Learn to communicate, forgive, and give people a chance to explain themselves. Love without pride, and when you find someone who truly values you, hold on to them. No one is perfect, but true love is built on understanding, not assumptions. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Your support means the world to me. Please don't forget to comment below. What part of this episode touched your heart the most? Share it in your own language. Family, I want to hear from you. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next twist in this amazing story. I love you all so much. Always remember, you are valued, you are loved, and you are never alone. See you in the next one, family. Stay safe, stay blessed.